Jesus. No, we're not talking about that. We're saying that in Jesus of Nazareth, Jesus that we refer to as the Christ, we have a unique situation where only he can satisfy the debt. Now, what John says in John 1:12, we didn't read that because we're on John 1:14. I want to go on a little bit about John 1:14. But what we read is this in John 1:12, that as many as believed in this infinite God becoming Jesus in flesh, to as many as believed in him, he delegated the authority, he delegated the right to become a child of God. So now, here's where the rubber meets the road. Have you, some point in your life, prior to now, stated your belief in Jesus? Have you said, I believe in Jesus Christ, the Son of God. I now depend on him. I now stake my life on him. What he's done on the cross, no one else could do. I've heard all the other arguments. But he's unique. He's the monogenes. King James said he was the only begotten. No. He's the one and only. He's unique. That's the correct translation. Sorry, friends. That's the correct translation. He's not begotten. He always was. He's always been. He's the Logos. You see, John's using the correct terminology. And the Logos became flesh. Let's go on. It says this. It says he made, the Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. Now I'm watching our time. I'll make sure we don't go for 2 hours. The Logos became flesh and made his dwelling among us. In some translations, it's worded like this. Made his, and some of you might have a translation that says this. And tabernacled among us. Does anybody have that? Just raise your hand if you have that translation. It's a very old translation. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. The Word became flesh and tabernacled among us. What does that mean? It means this. It simply means that he pitched his tent. It's from the Greek word skanu. So that when we say he skanued among us, what we mean is he pitched his tent, and his tent was the place of what? His dwelling. Now, what was his tent? Well, you see, John just made that clear. It's his body. It was his flesh. Where's your tent? Well, you say you're looking at it. And where's my tent? Well, you are looking at it. This is my tent. God made a big tent for me. I like the tent I'm in. It loves to eat. You see, but what John says is that the Word, the Logos, pitched his tent among us. Why? Why do you pitch a tent? So we can go in and dwell there. Was John thinking of the old tabernacle? Could be. Was John Jewish? The pigs oink. Yeah, John's Jewish. Was John raised in the Jewish church? Yeah, of course. John knew all this. John knew about the tabernacle. What was in the tabernacle? The Ark of the Covenant. What was the Ark? The Ark was a container, a big box, that was made out of acacia wood. Wood. Not pine, but similar to. Not mahogany, but looked like it. But it wasn't just a wood box, you see. This is unique. And Jesus is a type, the Ark is a type of Jesus. Jesus represents the Ark of the Covenant and the tabernacle. And that's what John's saying here. But it's a unique box. You see, it's not only a box made of acacia wood, sort of like myrtle wood up in Oregon. No, not like that. It's a wood box that was covered with what? Gold. And so we see there's a unique box. There's a unique container. It's a wood box, yes. No. Some would look at it and say, oh, look, it's a gold box. No. You see, some would then open the lid and say, no, look, it's a wood box. No, it's not a wood box, and it's not a gold box. It was the Ark of the Covenant box. It's the container where God's presence was said to live. And covering this unique box, this box of gold, this box of wood, this box is sort of like us, you see, a container that has both the eternal and has yet the material. It has the infinite that's going to go gold is so precious. Yeah, but it's not just gold, it's wood. And covering the ark of the covenant was the mercy seat. If we went into the tabernacle today, if it still existed, we would walk into this tabernacle. By the way, a temporary dwelling, right? It's something that the Hebrews had to huff and puff to move from point A to point B, and they were moving a lot back in those days. They liked that desert. They wandered around that desert for 40 years. They really liked where they found themselves, and they must have. And so every time they were getting ready to move, they got to huff and puff and churn and lift hard, because this is a big one. And yet when they get where they're going, they got to lay it all back out again, because it's required under the law that they do that. And you know what? You know what was done on the mercy seat? The cover of the ark. Blood was sprinkled. Oh, my blood? No. The priest's blood? No. Oh, what kind of blood? The blood of bulls and goats. The blood of lambs. Now, Jeff this morning led us in a song we were talking about many times about the Lamb of God. The Holy of Holies, the Lamb of God. This was all in the Holy of Holies. You see, we had that outer court, we had the inner court. This is all of the tabernacle, but then we had the Holy of Holies, where we find the Ark of the Covenant. And in the Ark of the Covenant, once a year, the priest would go in and sprinkle the blood of lambs. The Bible says that without the shedding of blood, there's no remission of sins. You know what John said? It's just astounding. John the Baptist is recorded in the Gospel of John to have said, behold, when he saw Jesus for the first time at his baptism, he says, behold, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. What did the blood of the lambs do on top of the mercy seat? Well, let's be careful. Let's be respectful. What we read is that the blood that the priest would sprinkle would atone, can I change the word? Would take away the sins of the people. It lasted for a year. We sometimes call the cover the atonement cover. Jesus, the Lamb of God, became flesh. He didn't owe the debt, but he did it willingly. Joseph read from Philippians 2 this morning. It's not without note that I noticed you did that. I didn't tell him to do that. Jesus became man willingly. The kenosis passage. Why? To pay a debt that he didn't owe. We say that so flippantly. We don't stop to say why he didn't know it. I've stopped today, right? We put a little break in, and we said, I'm going to talk about this. Jesus paid a debt he didn't owe. Why? Because he loved finite people. There's a little story